Welcome back, my dear students. Welcome back, my dear students. Welcome back, everybody. This is a new lecture. We're still in the supply chain management, still working on the idea of the supply chain management. And we will talk about today, we will talk about the factors affecting the supply chain. We'll talk about the factors that are affecting the work of the supply chain. Okay. Since we are talking about the work that affect the supply chain, then we had to talk about this power, the factors and challenges that are driving the supply chain. Factors and the challenging that are driving forces for the supply chain. Factors driving forces like if we say, yeah, we have 159. Okay, here we go. Factors driving logistics in the 20th century are focused on companies striving becomes more competitive and providing customers with added value in the supply chain. This is the main core. You are struggling to keep alive. An analysis of the components, uh, analysis of the components of the and the advantage became identify three elements. There are three elements. Okay. What are those three elements? What are those three? Each of these was interfaced with the other. Okay. Customer, company, all these factors together were customers, company, and competitors. Okay. The customer requires competitive pricing and value-added benefit from purchases. Okay. Both actual and perceived, such as warranty and after sales. This is what the customer wants. He or she may have a wide choice, such as from the preferred supplier and the competitor, differential, and so on. Differential may be not only cost, but also technology. Okay. We have something we call it before we talk about, we call the competitive advantage. And we said that what is the competitive advantage? What do we mean by competitive advantage? What do you mean by the competitive advantage? The competitive advantage cannot be understood by looking at the firms as a whole. Okay. It stems from the many discrete activities a firm performs: designing, producing, and marketing, delivering, and supporting its products. Okay. Maybe this figure, now we will go to a point. Here we go. There are 5 factors on which focus to manage the global network, materials, and information flows that transcend many borders and management cultures. Those are what we want. The first one, the centralization of one product center or one production center, may be more than one, generates long lead time to supply. The lead time to supply. Okay. So if you have one production center, that will give a lead time, longer lead time to supply. The production center is likely to rely on inbound component sourcing, ideally a level of intermediate inventory between the manufacturing and the customer. Distribution is required to buffer against extend transit time. Okay. Secondly, managers are often reluctant to eliminate long-established suppliers. But the strategy of pursuing supplier rationalization must be pursued with vigor and critical analysis. Okay. It will yield administration cost saving and maybe freight supply chain time benefits as well. Yeah. Third, a continuous audit review gathering markets intelligence must be conducted of both inbound and outbound supply chain embracing. Okay. Carriers are driven by the needs of shippers to add values to the service. So what's wrong with this? We know there are three areas present and ongoing challenges. What are they? Innovation featuring, multi-modalism operating alliances, embracing joint services as found in Dubai and Singapore. The containers concentration or concentration on FCL, LCL, road, sea rails, land bridge, trailer trucks, all this land containers. Okay. Okay. So here we say if we want to say something here about okay, customs. Here, custom authorities, by administrating and supervising the movement of goods and materials across national boundaries, play a key role. Cost of business can be identified because we said customs are added to the total cost. We said this. So we have direct costs associated with paying duties embracing the first one, the custom duty, the excise duties, and anti-dumping duties, all these also. CAP levies and import VAT and compensation interest or compensatory interest, costs for business associated with compliance of imports restrictions. This are the costs, and meeting obligatory customs requirements such as prescribed accounting procedures and information requirements, those two. Costs which may include opportunity cost by failing to take advantage of any customs regime or trade concession. This is the third one. So, okay. So we have to know that a good and material move across national frontiers, managing the customs functions is a key factor to success with the efforts of supply chain management. Okay. We have also to talk about some main points here. Customs facilitate available to the buyer include the following. Those are the customs, including import into free circulation. It is paid, customs and imports bid is paid and goods are removed from customs control. Some goods may be subject to import licenses. Custom warehousing, this is another kind of customs, enables goods to be stored without payment of import duties or VAT until release for free circulations or placed under another custom regime. Free zone, this is the third type customs, enabled goods to be stored and processed without payment of import duties. Inward processing relief, suspension, and drawback allows conditional relief for duty or imported materials and components for use in the manufacture of products or for exports. Processing under custom control also allows specific dutiable from duty components and materials to be imported without payment of duty, processed into finished product, and released for free circulations at the duty rate of the finished goods. The rate may be lower than the rate of the components and the material used in the production process. It's also another type of duty. We have also temporary importation which gives relief from duty of goods imported for a given period of time, like maximum 24 hours, and re-exported in the same country. So you don't take on it any customs because simply it will be uploaded back to another country, like it's coming for a transit. Returned goods relief, those are the refund or the returned, allow relief on re-importation of goods previously exported. End use reduced or zero duty for goods intended for a specified and end use. Like some countries, as example, they do no duties for the people with special capabilities. The cars are duty, as example, like autos are free duty, so on. Others, goods are re-exported, destroyed, or otherwise disposed of without payment of duty. We will talk about the management of inventory in the supply chain analysis, including vendor management. So management inventory is very important because you have to know what is the economic order quantity and when you have to ask for replacing the exhausted or the done stock and bring another new stock. We will now focus on some of the reasons for excess inventories to be followed by strategic development. Why? Why do we care about the inventories? Because loss of sales, this is the first point. The price strategies, second point. Obsolescence, which is a great risk in overstocking, because when you stock more than the limit, this is obsolescence might be a great risk. This results in writing off the inventory, which impacts on profits and losses for the year. Absence of a range of effective inventory management measures. This embraces no aggressive measures to measure and manage the inventory. Planning also, inventory planning is not based on demand management or similar criteria. Basically, it is more of initiative activity with long lead time for items, especially those imported. This compounds of the problem. Supplier performance. The absence of any process embracing buying and ordering transactions. A unified approach embracing one approach fit all, which one might be not proper for the inventory. A developing strategic approach is essential with focus on process at all the levels management for the inventory. So we have to make inventory analysis. We have to develop a lean inventory, which means no need for excess inventory. We have to examine of the entire supply chain distinguishes two more elements to measure the bound supply chain from the outbound supply chain in designing and implementing the strategy. We have to segment the inventory by velocity and profitability to classify it. An important focus on inventory strategy is to make it a key area in the overall company directions with emphasis on customer sales and profits to formulate and implement the sales. Those are the main points which we talk about the inventory. Factors contributing to the development of logistics. The first is the development of information technology will develop the logistics. The globalization of markets will develop the logistics. The accelerating development of global containers network also has developed the logistics. The continuous expansion of the integration and DHL, those also increase the effectiveness of the logistics. The decline of the end-to-end port-to-port liner conference systems and the development of the hub and spoke global container networks. This also activate and make it better for the global logistic system. The decline of the freight forwarder has emerged as the mega containers carrier develop in-house global logistic operations also. The development of the free ports, free trade zones, and distriparks in the port environs has opened up new opportunities of trade distribution for the international entrepreneurs. Value is added to the product through the global logistic network. Companies, particularly multinationals, are being driven by their logistic departments that also develop the logistics. Following 1.10 is the intense competition emerging in the global product. Satellite productions demands also shorter product life cycle. The ongoing technological development also increase the logistics system, effectivated. The global logistic facility offers a one-step operation and opportunity to deal with one person. So you don't have many windows, only one window can finish everything. The global logistic operations encourages the relationship of distribution and networks. And the continuous improvement in the global infrastructure also improve the logistics systems. Undoubtedly, the rapid expansion of information technology has been a major driving forces of the global logistic operations, computer driving, so that the global logistics system has been better for that reason. Companies today demand responsive from the global operators also. When a trader purchases a service, the trader expects the consignment to be delivered to be more performant or delayed opportunity encountered. As trade expands to the companies move from regional or global markets. Market research confirms that only 30% of the changes of the suppliers are motivated by a better, cheaper product. Like we see here, the transportation and the manufacturing inventory, which are the basics of the logistics systems, focus on the supply chain software. Here, the supply management, the order promising, and demand management in the supply chain. So, to include our analysis for the increasing interest in supply chain management, first of all, the concepts. Companies are primarily concerned with reducing delivery time and improving responsiveness to customers. Value. Equals emphasis is placed upon cost saving from reduced inventory. Those are the points which tell me why we need to make a supply chain better. Shall see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everyone.